Afternoon for me in Poland. My name is Marek Wardęcki. I'm a Points of View lead master and also really proud to be leading the professional development team. Together with me is also Rina Levitt, also Points of View lead master, also working closely with us in the professional development team. So Rina will introduce herself in a few minutes, and together with me from the Points of View team are both Orly and Anat, who are responsible for our tribe community, for the support, for answering the questions. And we are really, really happy to see you together with us. So if you still haven't done so before, please write in the chat where you're calling us from. I looked before the session started and I saw Malaysia, I saw Texas, Greece, Taiwan, Poland, France, Sweden, Norway, Saudi Arabia, Philippines, India, Mexico, Argentina, Israel. How amazing is that? Whoever knows me and has been to Points of View sessions, I'm saying it, so I'll repeat myself, but how amazing it is to be in a room with the whole world together. And sometimes I feel in a world where there's a lot of tension and media, social media, we're trying to feel that we're separated. Somehow we can all be together in one room. And today we're going to talk about questions, which is so powerful. Because again, what would happen if maybe we would ask a little bit more questions than give judgments? If we would listen more than to give opinions, maybe we would change. And maybe we cannot change the whole world, but at least we can start by changing our environment, the closest area next to us, our surroundings. And even if we start with our own piece, maybe it will be a good step forward. And today, again, it's an hour. And both me and Rina, when we are preparing about today, we said that questions are such an exciting content and topic for us that probably we could spend days talking about questions, good questions, not so good questions, powerful questions, deep questions. What's the difference? There's so much in questions. And we decided again today is just going to be a glimpse, a taste. But in our right brain revolution, it's our invitation to bring more into a space of feeling, into a space of emotions, into a space of silence, and as I said earlier, into a space of asking questions. Because again, how different would it be not to assume something and just to ask? And again, not to ask from a place of knowing, but to ask from a place of curiosity. But before we start, for those of us who are new with us, let me just share a few words about Points of View, who we are, where we're coming from. So, Points of View experience, we develop creative tools, methods, and we have a method and tools that blend the right brain of thinking, emotional intelligence, visual tools to spark meaningful growth and connection. I think what's important is we create spaces for conversations. We create a place where perspectives are open. We don't develop tools that give you straight away answers. We don't develop a test that tells you, are you A or are you B? Or we don't give you tests that tell you you should look left, we should look right. But what we do create is tools that ask you, where do you want to look now? What is important for you now? And what makes sense for you? And by using images, and later, I'm maybe doing a spoiler alert. I'm looking at Rina. Am I spoiling too much? Later, we'll have that experience of, again, images at work. Because remember, images, we all know how to look, and images connect us slightly differently. Our brain looks at images, and there's an amazing results that we are getting. But now I'm going far too much into images. Points of View just translated into over 30 languages, 147 countries. What's important, our tools work in different languages. Speaking in images works in different languages, different cultures. So we don't have a barrier. We don't have to say that only works one. It works everywhere. and you'll learn more about points of view through the session. But now I'd love to invite Rina to the stage and also to share about our session today.
So hello, everyone. It's really exciting to be here each time, again and again, to see some familiar faces, some new faces. Hopefully they will become also familiar and we will meet each other through the webinars and the academy and our programs. So it's an amazing opportunity to start something together or to continue a journey of observation and to getting to know maybe ourselves better through the tools, through the questions. So, there is a story about a father and a son sitting for dinner, eating, and then the small child asks, Father, can I ask you a question? And the father says, Of course. And the child asks, Why the skies are blue? And the father says, Wow, I don't know. Okay, why are the water wet? The child asks. And the father says, Wow, it's an amazing question. I never thought about it. I don't know. So the son asks, okay, and why the sun rises in the east and sets in the west? And the father says, I don't know. So the son says, Father, I'm really sorry that I'm bothering you with all those questions. And the father says, silly boy, if you won't ask, how will you know? So maybe it's about that. The questions are starting from the beginning. As we just come to this world, we want to explain things to ourselves. We want to figure things out. We want to share through others. And they're the most powerful tool that we have. Maybe as children, we don't think about asking a question. We're just brave and we're seeing what's inside of us and we bring it outside. Something maybe changes through the years, right? Because of others people's reactions and the pressure of being right, even with a question. So maybe brings us to the objectives of today's session. And Mark, if you could share the screen, it will be easier. So we have 3 objectives that we want to go through in just 1 hour. The first one is to observe how dialogue can be transmitted in different ways, not only by conversation as maybe we used from other fields. We're going to have a real-time practice, how to work with questions, how to work with visuals, how to choose them. And also we're going to get to the end with practical tools that you can use in your everyday professional life. But I want to start maybe with something to think about. It's not really a question, but I'm inviting you to take a deep breath and just to think about a meaningful conversation that you had. Maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was years ago, but something meaningful. You can think, who was the conversation with? What was the topic? And the most important thing I want you to think about is what made it meaningful for you. Why? Was it about what? And maybe you can answer through the chat or just unmute yourself and say something. What made that specific conversation that you're thinking about meaningful for you? Anyone would like to share, even in one word, what made it meaningful?
The openness.
Because it was open. Thank you. What else? Safe space. It caused us reflect, deep conversation, eye contact, amazing, authentic one, the trust between people. So we have a lot of elements, right? You can still write. It will be amazing to read it through that later. But meaningful conversation starts with the setting and the person that we're talking and how safe we feel there. And maybe it's because the content was very interesting for us. Maybe it's because I felt something. But if we will really drill down, what made the conversation most of the time meaningful is questions. Whether it's the question someone else asked me and we talked about it and it made me think, or to do a small inner research with myself. And maybe it was meaningful because I came from it with questions, things that I maybe don't have an answer yet and I want to explore, right? So the setting can be amazing, but if nothing touched me or it moved me to go deeper, so it was a nice conversation. But to make it meaningful, we need this special element. And Marek is going to talk with us about why questions are so powerful.
Thank you, Rina. And it was really inspiring. I was lucky I could read the comments in the chat. And I also feel that how the questions were asked that makes it meaningful. Because if we're going back to being seen, eye contact, equal, respect, the mentor, it's all coming also from how we're asking the question and what question we're asking. So I think, as we said in the beginning, it's how do we create that space that the question opens and doesn't close me in. So just a few notes about the questions, the power of questions that we took again from Rina, just an essence, but we also said, let's take a different twist. Let's go somewhere from a different perspective to have a play. And again, I think it's okay to say we really both like our role as a facilitator. It's an important role, holding the room, allowing for something to happen, for change. And we said that in the end, as a facilitator in the room holding the space, we're holding two questions. But again, it can be a facilitator, a coach, any conversation that you want. First is, what is the real topic that the person brings underneath the words? You know, it's again to understand what is really being said to me. And probably that's a different session, but we are always saying content, context. The words are saying one thing, but it's again, what is really the message that I'm hearing behind? Because that's where I should put my energy to my questions. You know, I can hear a question. I don't know, I'm starting a session. Do you have a certificate? Again, I'm assuming probably the participant's not asking about the certificate because he wants to know, do I collect certificates? Again, probably it's going, am I competent? Do I have the knowledge to hold a room? But again, if I go deeper, why are they asking this question? Again, I'm assuming at this moment, but maybe there's something about safety. They don't feel safe. Maybe there's something happening that's triggering them and they are not feeling that this is a good space for them. So they're trying to find a way to find safety. So again, I heard one thing, but the real question is, what is the real topic? What is the issue? What's really being brought up? And in a one-on-one coaching session, the client comes with an issue. But what is really the issue? What's behind? What's the mindset? What's the real blockage, obstacle? In an organizational meeting, again, I'm not going to make the deadline, but what does it really mean that the deadline's not going to be met? It's not important, I cannot make it. So we're holding to really understand what's the issue. And then, again, we're saying how I can ask to open a door and not to give a direction. Because again, I'm coming from a space of not judging, of listening, of being curious, and I want to open the door a little bit more, to understand a little bit more, and to ask why, but without the inclination that is judgmental, but what's happening, what's posing. So we really want to open doors and to think about questions. We feel these are the questions. If a question is opening a door, sparking curiosity, that's where something interesting can happen. And something again to remember, it's the power of a question isn't in how it's asked, but the intention. Why am I asking? And again, to be aware, when I'm asking my questions, do I know why I'm asking this question? Am I asking this question because I want to check something? Am I asking this question because I want to lead them somewhere? Probably if I'm at least aware of it, that I want to lead them somewhere, then maybe I'll change my question, not to have the tendency to take them somewhere. but always to ask ourselves why. And it's hard. We also know it's more complex because I'm present in the room listening, but somewhere behind the head, 3 layers behind, what's my why? And how do I know if a question will move something? Because this is what we said. If I'm opening doors, I want to move. Because again, if I'm asking the question, why I'm asking the question? Because I want to take on the journey. I want to go somewhere. I can stand and ask questions from different directions, but then I'm not going anywhere. I'm just turning in circles, and we want to go on a journey. So to again be aware with ourselves as a skill, does my question come from deep listening and not my need to guide? So again, am I saying, do I want to prove something, show something, or again, am I just listening? And from the listening, the question arrives. And again, am I allowing myself to let go of control and really not know where the conversation will lead? Again, we feel it's something quite powerful and opening, liberating if I'm asking questions in an interaction with someone and to allow them to take me where they want to take them. Not in the safe space, not to the obvious, but remember one slide before, to take them where they really want to go. Because it's the one thing where they think they should take you, because I'm quite sure many of our clients, participants have this, I need to show them something, so I'm going to take them there. But to really take them where they really want to go. And this is also our part of checking. And again, does it honor the other person's pace and emotional depth? And remember what we wrote in the chat about what makes a conversation meaningful? There was something in about the space, the pace, being seen, being heard. Am I following where they want to go? Am I with their pace, or am I rushing it? And then I probably stops feeling meaningful, or they want to go deep and I'm making a joke out of it. Am I on the same page with them? And as I said earlier, exactly with the journey, can we release what's expected and make space for what's real? Because we have to remember we're so trained to provide answers that we think the other person is looking for. And I'm always saying this is the tricky thing with points of view, is that we don't have an expected answer. And sometimes we're lost because we are trained, a multiple choice test. What is the real answer? B, even when we do written tests in literature, someone is marking the test and they're looking for specific words. And what happens when we can let go of that expectation? Again, it can be scary because suddenly where am I navigating? But on the other hand, how amazing can it be? And remember, a powerful question doesn't control the journey, it invites what's waiting to emerge. And this is again the metaphor of the doors that we're saying. How your questions, and to think about it, is my question really opening that space for the journey? Or again, am I inviting? I want to control the journey. Do I want to take the people somewhere, or do I want to invite them? I'm just thinking, Rina, if you want to add anything to the questions. No, Rina is fine. I don't know how we are with the time, so let me continue. Because as we said, questions, we can craft a lot about questions. We can talk. And in fact, in our business trainer certification program, and this is something that we're doing, and I see that we have some people in the journey that are in the first group that finished, that are in the second group ongoing. So if I could ask you, please, if you want to share anything about how is your journey with questions at the moment in the business trainer certification, we call it BTC, like a Korean pop band, please share it in the chat. But what we wanted to say, if asking better questions, and again, not the whole question itself, but about the context, the why, the opening doors, crafting a journey that it's taking me somewhere in an unexpected way, then maybe this program is something that you'll be curious about, because that's what we're doing there for a few months. Every 2 weeks, we're meeting to talk about crafting questions, to go deeper, to be more present. We also do other things there, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. But if this sounds curious, if you're interested, we are also putting in the chat the contact person, to Shani, to book a meeting, again, a free discovery meeting, see if it's something for you, and we'll share more details about BTC. But if you feel something, maybe it's the right message, and let me hand it over to Rina.
Yeah, I'll just add that the program is really about how we formulate questions, how questions become a layout chart, how there are processes that we can do one-on-one or with a group. So today we're not really going to dive into that. And I think me and Marek talked enough. Let's try to experience also, because yes, we can talk, as you can see, half a year through the sessions about questions and what we can do with them. But we want you to really feel what it means to work with the tools and to work with powerful questions. And I have one question for you for today. And all of us are going to talk, admit, understand, research one question. So the question is, what is challenging me right now? It can be from any aspect of your life, maybe from your professional side, maybe from your day-to-day with your family, friends, with yourself, with your body, with your health, whatever is like asking for an opportunity today to be here. So let's just take 2 minutes. I'll try to be silent as I can and just write for yourself, free writing. What challenges me? How the challenge looks like. You can write for yourself, not even just in one word. You can elaborate. And if you're talking, for example, about balance, so where is it? In which field of your life? Is it everywhere? Is it a specific point? What's the challenge in finding balance? Just write without even thinking. Borders, limits, amazing. Just write for yourself. Elaborate it for yourself so you can understand not just the title, but what's underneath it. Thank you for sharing. We have a lot of challenges, right? And usually this is what we do. We ask someone a question, and then they're supposed to answer, right? Sometimes we don't even give them time to think or to collect their thoughts. I ask you a question, straight away, give me an answer. But what if an answer is another question, is another journey? And in Points of View, we work not only with powerful questions, but also with visuals. So we won't just go to our automatic response, to our routines, to our habits. We want to expand, to explore what else is there that maybe I was not thinking about. So we're going to show you for today one question, you already have that, and one image from our Speak Up. And this is the image for today. Mark will click on the screen and we will see the next one. So this is your photo for today. And some of you are already looking at it and looking for an answer. What does it say? Let's wait for a moment. Let's take a breath. And let's just observe with our eyes, with our senses. And you can write down, I will ask several questions. You don't have to answer all of them. The point is to trigger your mind. So what was my first reaction when Marek showed the screen and I could see the card? And is that reaction was something that I was thinking, a cognitive response? Or maybe I felt something, a real physical response. And when I'm looking at this photo, what do I see? Is everything clear to me? Maybe there is a specific detail that attracts me. You know, if it was in our phones, we could do like this with our fingers, right? To make things larger or smaller. So play with it in your mind. If I could make like zoom in, on what would I like to zoom in? And if I could do zoom out, so what else can I see in the photo that's behind or beside? And I can see that some of you are writing about emotions. So do I like this photo? If I like it, because of what? And maybe I don't like it. So because of what? And it's not about judgment. It's about what's there speaking to me, or maybe knocking on my door. And how this photo sheds a different light about what challenges me. Because I was writing and writing and writing whatever I know, right? But if I don't know anything, and there is a different kind of answer over there, so what else can I see? And Rohan, I see your hand. I will give it a minute, okay? So just write what kind of new insights or thoughts are coming to your mind when this card is connected to your own challenge. What's really challenging me in the issue that I was working on with myself for a few minutes ago? And check for what's new. What I know. What's new? What just came up to me and I didn't notice it before? And Rohan, you had a question, so maybe if it's okay, we can see your face also and you can share or ask. Or maybe something changed for you and things are clear. So I'm curious, does anyone feel that they're looking at the image, they're staring at a question and nothing? I'm not sure what to make of it. And if you feel like it, so let's talk about it a little bit. If someone feels that they want to share, maybe something is not obvious, so just unmute yourself and we can share, because I can't keep up with all the messages in the chat. So if you want to share, just speak up, be brave. Who's feeling brave today? Who's really waiting to show up?
Rina, can I share?
Yes. Hetel?
Yes, Hetal, yes.
Oh, thank you for seeing you. Welcome.
Thank you. I would not want to go into too much detail. I don't want to take too much of the time, but my challenge was to determine which master's program am I going to get on. I'm finding it very difficult to make that decision. So I am a trainer. I'm an emotional intelligence trainer. And at the same time, I work with corporate. But at the same time, I always get this, that I'm a good listener and I would probably want to embark in the counseling route. So it's that challenge between which one is the one I should pick. So when you asked the question, there were three things that came to my mind: relevance to the profession, my passion, and the cost. And when I saw the picture, there are three limbs that are missing. The head is missing, the hands is missing, and the legs are missing. But I actually like that.
To you. What does
Sorry?
it mean to you? What does it mean to you that they are missing?
Yeah, so I connected by not getting the answers. That's what it meant to me. And I like that photo. Personally, whenever I facilitate, whenever that photo comes up, even for my participants, I just like that photo. I just thought it was very relevant. But what I had not seen, the question you asked, like what came something that did not speak to me earlier about the photo that came now was that the answer to my challenge is it lies by the missing limbs. Basically, to me, means dissolving your ego. So really just dissolving the ego and just losing myself for a while and not looking from, not thinking from here, just losing myself, and then I'll find the answer. That's how I felt.
So
And-
you're sharing, if I can understand what you're sharing, if I'm not deciding, if I don't know where to go, I might lose my head.
Sorry, I can't hear you properly. Can you say that again?
Yes, I'm asking because what I hear from you, when I don't know how to decide or what to choose, I might lose my head, my thinking part.
Yes, yes. So I just feel I need to get the head out and go to the heart, because when you asked us to zoom in the photo, the first thing I zoomed in was at his heart.
Yes.
So for me, it's like going from the head to the heart and then making the decision of which path I should take.
And if there is no head in your decision, if we're thinking about your two options, which way to choose, and you're not working from your head, what kind of answer do you have inside of you? Which route is more relevant?
I know the answer. It's definitely the one-on-one counseling route. But that's my passion. I'm just trying to be practical. So yeah, but I think I got my answer.
So the real question is from the practical side to the passion side.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because you are getting to the answer, yes, it's passion, but I'm going back to the head. And I'm asking, do you need that?
And I also feel that it doesn't have to be one. I just need to find a way to blend it, actually.
Okay, so how
Yeah.
can you do that? When you're observing the photo again,
Mm.
maybe there is also a clue of how you can blend those two.
Yeah, I'll need to look at it again and think about it.
Okay, so Marek can show us the screen again. Maybe something will come up just because we're talking about it. So
Okay.
maybe there is a clue in the photo of how can I blend those two, my passion and my mind. What can help me? What can support me? What's the first thing came to your mind when I asked that?
Honestly, cannot think of anything. I'll have to be authentic and tell you that.
I know, but what if you won't think? Because you told me that you understand that the answer is in the passion and not in the head. So when you're not thinking, Hatel, what is supporting you?
Can you repeat it when I'm not thinking?
What is supporting you? When it's not your head, when it's not rational, what
Mhm.
is supporting you? What do you see in the photo?
It's my heart that's supporting me. It's what I want and the difference I want to make.
Okay. So it's the difference that I want to make.
Yeah.
It's my vision. And I don't need my head for my vision. I need my heart. This is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think more than the difference, it's also knowing what I feel it's like fulfilling your purpose. Because I've always been asked by my participants, can we do a one-on-one with you? You know, can we do? And I feel that's a purpose.
Yes.
People need me. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. And it's amazing you used fulfilling, and we see like an empty person, and you are talking about fulfilling. Just something to think about. This is what you do. You are fulfilling. You are making something empty full again. This is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Well, I'm really sorry.
Yes.
I can't hear you
I know
very
you have a connection issue. I'm just saying that what I'm hearing from you, that when you're seeing something empty, you know how to fill it. And this is strength.
Yes.
Thank you, Hatel.
All right, you're most welcome. Can I just say one more thing? I also looked at the photo as it doesn't have to be about me. That's what I see the photo. It's completely without ego. It's nothing to do with me. Like I have to be present for the person who's across of me. So that's how it is. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing in front of all of us. That was amazing. Thank you. Marek?
Yes, thank you. I'll just ask Nicholas, you have your hand up.
Yes, hi. Well, I had a thought about the picture as well. and I related to lack of honesty, because I saw the picture and a person sitting down for a conversation with someone else, and as a professional consultant, time to time I put on my professional costume and go to the meeting with a client. And if it's just the professional costume that arrives and sit down with the client, there is a lack of honesty. It's more important that I am there than the costume. Actually, so I saw a lack of honesty or lack of being in the photo.
You're bringing the essence of being present, fully present.
Fully present. And time to time, as a professional consultant, there is a challenge to be present, because I easily enter into the professional role and behaviors, and there is a challenge that that professional, let's say, way of being takes over instead of being me. It's more important that I'm not that professional consultant, and that in that moment I need to be me.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
That was what I saw in the picture.
Yeah. And this is exactly how it works. We're seeing one question, and each one of us had different questions from the question, right? We had one image, and I'm sure that we have 101 people showing us different perspective, and it touches us in different places. This is exactly the magic of working not with an answer from our mind, but from something else that touches different parts in us and connects our brains to go deeper. And maybe Marek will talk more about that too.
Definitely. Thank you for the sharing. I want to also say thank you for the demo, for the perspectives. I feel again something is sparking. We want to share, what the different things we see. But I would like to take a step back, and I'm curious if anyone wants to share what they observed. Again, in that very short interaction with Rina and Hetal. Thank you again, Hetal, one more time. Anyone wants to share what they saw, what they feel moved? From a practical, we say it from the professional hat, as professionals who we are. What did we notice? What helped to move the conversation? What helped to open some doors? What you noticed or what touched you?
Can I speak, Marek?
Of course, and you don't have to ask for permission. I'm just adding the spotlight. Thank you.
Yeah, what really jumps out is the metaphors of the image, and just looking at the image, all the questions and the way more questions come up and things that you notice in the card, it makes it so easy and so free-flowing to have a deep conversation about it. And because you're sort of looking at the image and it's outside of you, it doesn't feel threatening or challenging. So it's easy to talk and tell this story, and then you're able to connect that story with exactly your situation and what's happening. So it just feels so easy and free flow, and just deeper than a normal conversation would take you.
Thank you, Lydia, so much for sharing that. I feel again that power of the metaphor, exactly that it can take us. And I love, Lydia, also what you shared, that it's outside. And if we talk to Petal's interaction, it's still resonating with me about the ego-less, dissolving the ego. It feels like, the ego doesn't have to protect in that moment because it's outside. And then again, if I feel vulnerable enough, I'll just blame it on the photo, which is okay, but it still works. It will still resonate with us, but we're saying it's just a photo. Lydia, anyone else wants to add what they observe?
Yeah, one of the things I always notice, I'm always amazed, is how quickly we get to meaningful content. So like just with Hettles there, you know, it would have been so easy to have a conversation. Well, what do you think the advantages are of doing this? And then what are the disadvantages? You go into a very logical conversation. But the image, I felt just that was so beautiful. It got to deep, meaningful content for her quickly, and really getting to the heart of the issue. And so often conversations go round and round and round, and we never get to the heart of what's happening. So it was just a beautiful example of getting to the heart of what's important in a very quick manner.
Thank you, Irvin, so much for that metaphor. Exactly. It's cutting. Like, I feel it's a shortcut. You know, in the IKEA shops, there's like the shortcut. So I feel this is the image. It just takes you to where we need to go. And again, it allows us to see. And we want to again invite you. It's a different example. Today we took you to challenges. And I love reading in the chat where I am not authentic, not seeing myself. And then can you imagine we would twist the question and you can see so many other things to the same image. Anyone else that wants to add anything, what they saw, what moved them in this dialogue? Maybe any question that stood out and also resonated with you?
Hi, Marek.
Hi, Maria, let me add you. Yes.
Okay. Well, the first thing that I thought when I saw the image was about not being authentic. But then after listening to the other people, okay, that were commenting, is like the concept of being present, okay, that maybe as he was saying about being with your, let's say, your custom of coach or whatever, maybe many times you are not there, but just the idea and the importance that might be a challenge, just to be present, being fully you, whenever it is that you are dealing with people or with yourself, okay, just listening to you. That.
Thank you so much for adding. I was just checking anyone else wanted to jump in. I just wanted to say again to observe that power of question, that even in a group setting, we watched one interaction, one demo, but still the questions are resonating with us. The observation is resonating with us. And maybe I had a completely different challenge, but something from a different perspective issue. It's also triggering. We're also mirroring each other and something is happening. And sometimes we feel this questions, it's not to me, it's to someone else. But if it's still there, if the question is open enough, I will also find something for myself. And before we continue, because I feel for us and Rina, this is the biggest juice to hear each other, because again, it's points of view, all the different perspectives. So anyone else that wants to really add anything about the interaction, about the questions that were asked, anything that moved you, you observed.
May I
share.
try? What I loved was the fact that it took you from the practical side to the heart so fast, from the practical to the passion, the way she took it through the questions, because where's the answer coming from? Because there was no head, there were no hands, and there were no feet. Well, where's the answer coming from then? It's coming from the heart. That was beautiful. What a wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, for adding that. And it also wants to connect me, Petal. I'm sorry, it's still in my head, so I'll ask, because you talked about going from head to heart and you have a connection issue. So I'm wondering how you can make your connection between these two elements stronger so that it's not breaking down. But I'm leaving it as a question to you, and I want to see anyone else wants to add.
I just
Marek?
wanted to say something. Yeah, I
Oh,
just want
okay.
to add something before we're jumping in, because it's interesting. Sometimes the question has like an association attached to it. We asked what challenges me. And I guess that most of us thought about a difficulty in my life. I could see like the subject you were writing, but the challenge doesn't have to be like a negative. So just to check with myself, am I going to a specific direction all the time when someone is asking me a question? Am I programmed to look what's wrong? Or maybe a challenge is something that I want to grow with or to do something different than I'm used to. And it's not about being difficult or hard or negative, just something to consider. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Rina. And Kathleen, I think you started sharing.
Yes, what struck me when I saw the image of the headless person, no hands, no feet. Earlier, when you asked what's challenging you, and my answer was overwhelmed. It's just too many things going on that are demanding my time and my attention, and it's really making me feel stuck. So when I saw that image, what came to mind is maybe I shouldn't overthink things. Get out of your head. You're doing too many things. You're there's too much social media going on. Your hands are always on your device. So cut off the hands, and you're going to places that you shouldn't be going to, with paying attention to more important things. So cut off the feet, but the body is still there, and I wouldn't miss the head so much because there's always the gut, the gut and the heart. So listen to what your intuition is telling you, because it's still there. So maybe that's what it's saying to me.
Wow. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing. I see another perspective on the image. And what's really amazing, I'm overusing the word, is that again, we could sit here and there's 98 of us, and we could continue and we would see so many other elements and we could add on to our story. So thank you for those, but let us slowly wrap up. We have the practical tools will be at the end of the session, so stay, because we have 2 practical ideas about questions to bring to your sessions. However, if you feel that something inside of you resonated, then again, we are inviting to the BTC journey to bring, to use, to learn the language of visuals, metaphors, powerful questions in a organizational context. That's what we focus on, but you can take it to anywhere you want. It's again a journey to learn how to speak this language. I think we saw it from this conversation. We had one photo, a challenge. From the logic, we went to the emotions, to the connections, to the metaphors, and then in the points of view language, we're connecting it back. That because again, in points of view, we believe everything is important. So it's not the right brain, so now I leave the left brain. No, I also need my analytical skills. I also need to make decisions. I want to move forward. So it's about integrating, how to make those both sides connect, talk more. It's also a journey where I'll share a slide again, but I want to say more. Again, it's a journey of also learning how to speak this language and adapt it. We are giving you hands-on, this will be the next one, we're giving you hands-on ready tools, workshops that always work, but what we feel is even more important is we're teaching you this language, the building blocks of how to break it down, how to, use it so that, again, we also know how the world is. I plan a 2-hour session, and the team comes late 30 minutes, and then they tell me I want to leave 40 minutes earlier. What do? It's not to panic, but to strip, to make the essence to work. And also that in case you go to a meeting and suddenly something changes, you know how to craft a powerful question. And you saw it's one question, one photo, how many places we can go. So our journey, we teach you our 4 workshops. It's 40 hours of online classes. So again, this is for marathon runners. If you just want to come and to listen to lectures, this is not for you. This is about experience, practicing. Again, we have our graduates and people in the course. They can tell you it's a lot of experience, hands-on, showing up. But again, you get the workshops, you get the experience, you get the practice, you get the credits if that's important, you get access, you're seen on the website. And what I think is also super important in our world is you become a part of a tribe, a network of like-minded facilitators from around the world to inspire, to grow each other. Rinush, where are you? I lost you. And we wanted to ask before we move on, are there any questions that anyone has to the Business Trainer program that you'd like to ask? Like to hear?
By the way, it starts in September. So if you're ready, this is the time. But maybe something is not clear, or you want to understand more about the process, about what you're going to get from it. So we will give you just 2-3 minutes just to share, and then we're going to the practical tips that we have.
And you can also practice formulating a question. About the costs, that I will take to Shanice here with Orly, and they can talk about the cost. Is it all digital? So I think we can answer this question. We teach, you have access to both the digital tool, and we learn using the digital tool, and we also learn about the physical. And we focus, I think, on both sides, with the majority on, the whole workshop takes place digitally, so you can dial in from anywhere in the world, but we teach you more to go to face-to-face experiences, but you are ready to do both. Rina, anything you want to add?
No, that's exactly it. We meet virtually, but we learn to work both physically and virtually.
Do I have to say that it's a very big journey? Hello.
Hi, Catherine. She's our
Hello,
graduate.
Yes, I'm here from France, and I'm in love with Point of View since 2012. And I've done everything. I'm a master. I've done all the level. But if you work in corporate, you don't even need to be a coach. It's better. But it's so interesting journey to work with people, executive people, or whatever you're doing in life. It's just give you more the tool you really need and the practice you really need to be successful in what you're going to do. That's just what I want to say.
Amazing, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
And the
Catherine.
tool and the click it is amazing. So think about it.
Thank you. So Mark, I think that we are ready to move to some tips that we have for you, how you can use everything we talked about today in your everyday professional side. So maybe the first tip, yes, we will get there in a second. The first tip is how to start meetings, and whether it's a meeting with a corporate world or one-on-one sessions, most of the time when we're entering the room, we already have the agenda and we're starting to talk about the issues, the problems, whatever is going on. But what if we will start with questions? And it's not about what's going on, what's not working. What if the question is, what would make this meeting meaningful for you? What do you want to achieve from this meeting today? What's important for you to express today? So if we collect other people's thoughts, and I'm reminding you, it's not about just asking a question and giving them time to answer, it's giving them time to think about it and maybe answering through the visual tool. So maybe the question was clear at the beginning, but something shifted and changed just because I'm using a visual, and I can use just one visual for everyone, or I can let every participant or member in my team to choose their own, and we can really grow from other people's answers and perspective. And by starting to seeing things from different angles, it will change the way we'll see the problem at work, the issue that we're talking about. So a question will provoke something else and will teach different kind of skills and dialogues between team members and managers and their employees, and even coach and coachee. So this is our first tip for you.
And the second one, why not close with a question? Don't only use questions in the beginning. Again, they're important, but we also try it, and we know how it works, is when you end the meeting. Again, even in a simple way, with what question am I ending today? And first of all, again, it gets the insights in what question I want to ask myself. Also, on a different layer, as facilitators, coaches, we also get another layer of information. What are they leaving with? What was most important? What they still need to find out? In a team meeting setting, we can put it at one more level up and say, okay, this is your question, find the answer to next session. So don't only wait with questions till the end, at the beginning. Also in the end, questions are also important. And quoting very shortly one of the stories from one of our tools, what's important there is that we are getting a lot of questions, and sometimes we are feeling not so good because we're not getting the answers. But in the end, it's most important to ask the question and not to get the reply. And having said that, we are still open to if there are any questions that you have. We just want to say again, big thank you for coming with us, being with us. If you want, there will be a recap available tomorrow. You'll get an email today with more information. Also in our tribe space, we are publishing in 3 minutes our newest article about questions. Again, more ideas, inspiration about going to questions. And again, if something in what we shared today is resonating with you, again, follow that connection, the heart, the gut, book your meeting with Shani and discover what's there for you. Is it the right moment, the right time? We'll find ways to work. And in this journey, you'll be there with me, Rina, and also Yelise. I think Yelise is also in the session.
Still here. Yeah.
I want to add Yelise. She's not ready for it, but I'm going to spotlight. So we will be guiding you in this journey to learn the language of visuals, to continue the right brain revolution, really to bring connection in a world that's looking for answers, divisions, to go to the dialogues. I'm sorry, I'm going to let Rina say something, but someone at the beginning said something about AI. And again, how AI makes it easier, and then we're losing the skill of conversation. And again, through the images, it's easy to reconnect to the power of the tools.
So maybe my last invitation is just to ask yourself, to conclude it for you. What am I taking from today's session? It could be about the question you started with. It could be about meaningful questions at all. Whatever is relevant for you, you can share in the chat, you can write down to yourself, but you know that you close the process by one thing that I'm taking from today.
And maybe as a bonus, Yelise, what do you believe is important about questions? So we also hear you today.
What am I taking from today's session? You're
Or
asking?
something important about questions.
What am I taking personally? I worked with your wonderful and very powerful and deep questions, Rina. Thank you for that. I like the photo. The photo was a negative photo most of the time for me, but this time it was very powerful, and it's the surrender is the word that I'm taking today from that photo. Surrender.
Amazing.
Thank you, Yelise.
Thank you all. It was a pleasure, as always, to be with you.
And that's it. Any questions, anytime, we're glad to see you. We're waiting in 3 weeks, the next webinar. Watch out, make sure to follow, tag us, like us, book your meeting, and looking forward. As we said, there are questions about the cost, then please book a meeting. I don't have that answer next to me. How long it takes, that I know. That's from September to February, so I don't know, but it's long. It's every 2 weeks, online, 4 hours to dive, experience, explore. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing rest of the week, and till we see you soon somewhere. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.